Hour and 22 minutes. I usually only need about 5.
To make a full-length podcast episode with me, Steve?
No.
I don't know what you could be referencing. 5 minutes. What could Steve get done in 5 minutes? Is it sex?
That was the joke.
Oh, okay. All right. That's okay. Funny sex joke. Good job, Steve. Everyone, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steven. This is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast. Ryan, I have a question for you.
I'm ready to answer,
and
Steve.
So much of popular music, you know, there are songs about how a woman doesn't want a 1 minute man, but there's also songs about how a woman doesn't want like a 2-pump chump or whatever they say.
And let's be honest, like the songs that are like, we're going to go all night long. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like
that's not reality.
But what I'm getting at is like, why is there this jump from like, okay, 2 pumps to like 60 seconds? Like,
I mean, if it takes you 60 seconds to do 2 pumps, you're going real slow. Why is this a sex show? Why are we doing a sex episode, Steve? You're the one who got us on this. And why is your mic covering your entire face all the time? Like, what? You can see the monitor. Like,
that's just the way I like to hide.
You know, people want to see your beautiful face.
Don't.
Stop hiding it.
That's a lie.
Bushel. This first ad was sent in by Adam Pope.
Yep, it's a 1979 Gretsch 1979 Gretsch Super Axe guitar. Rare sunburst color, all original with original case, recent service, professionally done, replaced output jack and strings.
I thought this looked cool. I'd never seen one before. And then I went and looked up some information and I learned a few things, Steve.
Tell me what you learned.
This is the final Chet Atkins guitar with Gretsch.
Oh.
Gretsch.
Gretsch.
That's how it is. Gretsch.
What?
Is how it's pronounced.
Is that how it's pronounced?
No. It's pronounced Gretsch, but it's spelled Gretsch.
Ch.
I think it's really cool looking. You can tell it's from the early 70s because it's got all these extra things going on.
It's from the late 70s, but sure.
Okay, it's from the 70s. All right. Okay, all right.
It's got some built-in effects.
I misspoke. It's got a built-in phaser, Steve.
Yeah.
And a compressor. It's got a phaser and a compressor. This is, as you can tell, I grabbed some screen grabs of an orange version of it.
I like that orange
close-up. I know. Like, we got sent this tobacco bursty one, which looks very handsome. With that orange, like that is Gretsch orange right there.
Yep.
I don't know. I think they want $1,900 for it. From what I was seeing online, that's a fairly normal price for these.
Really? It's been in Springdale, Arkansas for 16 weeks.
And maybe they don't sell a lot, but that's what people seem to be asking for them. Maybe you can make offers and get them for less. I think this looks fun. It's like a thin-bodied, solid body guitar, wraparound tailpiece. So it's probably going to feel like kind of like loose and jangly.
It's got a weird shape.
Oh, it's super weird.
In some of the pictures, I think it looks too weird. But in other pictures, it looks the right amount of weird. At
certain angles, it looks like really slick. In other angles, it looks kind of dopey.
But
I kind of like that dope. I like there's a bit of a Big Spee influence going on here.
The binding is so thick that it makes the non-bound part
looks razor thin.
Look like the rubber section on like a Dan Electro.
Oh, sure.
Like that's a choice, and it's a bolt-on neck.
It's I don't know how it's a bolt-on neck because it looks like a set neck, but there's a plate on there. It's wild construction, and I know there's probably a Gretsch fan out there that's going to comment that this is not a good era for Gretsch or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's a great era for Gretsch, but I think it looks cool. If I was someone who just collected old and funky stuff in a barn and I could have 1,000 guitars building up, this would be in the collection because I want to check this thing out.
Is this the same? Yeah, this is around the same time. In fact, this is the same, a very similar, but maybe not exactly the same body shape as the Gretsch Beast.
Is it?
It's very close.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a different headstock.
That orange one, though. I mean, I like that tobacco burst, but that orange is doing for me. I wonder what the compressor sounds like. I meant the phaser. I mean, what does the compressor and the phaser sound like? Those are things I want to know. It's not the same as the Beast, but similar vibe.
Yeah, the Beast is almost like the Carvin version.
Right. Well,
that's a reference that a lot of people aren't going to understand. I
didn't look up whether or not these are semi-hollow because they kind of look like it's so big. You kind of hope it is.
What is this model called again? The Super Axe.
Yeah. And it's got a big back plate where you know that all the guts for the the phaser and the compressor are and stuff like that. So I'm sure it's got a lot of hollow stuff back there.
There's another one on Reverb that also has the neck plate thing going on.
Yeah, I don't think that's aftermarket. Maybe we can only speculate as to what that's all about because it looks like a set neck that happens to have a bolt-on plate included for some reason. Because you look at it from this angle, and that's not a bolt-on neck. That looks set into the body.
All right, here's what it says.
It's so funky.
A new Gretsch Great. This is an ad from 1976. Nobody knows more about electric guitars than Chet Atkins, and nobody makes better guitars than Gretsch. Put them together, and you have a brand new concept in sophisticated electronics, the Atkins Super Axe. Designed by Chet for Gretsch, this great new axe gives you all the modular sound effects you'll ever need with built-in interchangeable components. The phaser module produces the greatest sound guitar variations you'll ever hear. The compressor with sustain control squeezes the tone and feeds it out for an infinite tonal response and sustain. Absolutely beautiful. No pedals, no more groping around for the right sound. Just flip a switch. The Atkins Super Axe brings Gretsch super quality to the rock field, like Chet himself says. In all modesty, I think my new Super Axe is the ultimate guitar for the rock musician. Catch this great new Gretsch at your nearest Gretsch dealer. So it talks about all these modules, but then it just names the same two modules that we see here.
Which is how all module-based guitars end up. It's like, well, this is going to come with 1,000 modules in the future because this is the future of all electric guitar. No, it just comes with the 3 options that were involved at launch, you know.
There is a plainer version of this that's just called the Axe.
All right. So this is the Super, and then you can just get the Axe. I have to say, like, as boring as compressor is as an effect, it could actually be really fun built into a guitar because you're like, I'm holding this note, I need it to go, and you just crank the knob. You're like, now I can hold it forever. Now I'm going to sustain and sustain and sustain, and then you back it off when you don't need it anymore.
Oh, this bridge is a Leo Kwan Badass bridge.
Oh.
According to this article.
I mean, it looks like every other wraparound tailpiece bridge I've ever seen, but so that's like an original version of that style hardware,
I guess
original Badass
I'm going
bridge?
to make a note to try to leave a link to this article because I think it's interesting, but I don't want to read the whole thing. It's got a 24.5-inch scale.
Okay.
That is interesting. They say that could that's very much a potential Chet Atkins thing.
Sure.
And apparently, oh yeah, this makes sense. So for all that we read, what I actually wanted to read through was whether or not it says it's a true solid body instrument, unlike the semi-hollows. But they talk about how this is actually like when you think about it, this is kind of a obvious predecessor to the Gibson ones.
The Gibson ones.
The Gibson Chet Atkins models from the 90s. Sure. Yeah. It was like weird, like the Chet Atkins SST, where it's like a solid body acoustic Les Paul whatever thing.
Right.
You know.
Totally.
All right, 1950, I can see it now. I'm in for 1950.
I don't think it's ridiculous. I think if they're not moving, then obviously if you wanted to buy one of these, then you're going to make an offer, right? You're going to go like, hey, how about 15? And they're going to come back with 18, and you're going to come back with 17.50, and they're like, okay, all right, I've had it listed for 3 months already. Let's get it out.
There's one on Reverb for $1,600. There's one at Carter Vintage for $2,700. There's a few more on Reverb north of $2,000.
What color is the cheapest one?
The cheapest one is kind of this ebony stain.
Yeah, that's why it's the cheapest.
Oh, and that might actually be an axe, not a super axe, because I don't see
Right.
any effects.
What's the cheapest orange one?
Looks like 24.
See, it goes over the top there. Yeah. All right. Okay. I would, I like that tobacco burst as well. That wouldn't break my heart to have that in my life for a little while, at least, to check this thing out. I wonder how heavy it is. It's such a big body. It's a big bodied guitar to be a solid body. This thing's,
I mean, it depends.
It's got to be at least 9 pounds just to start, right?
But 9 pounds isn't, it's not great, but
I know. I'm saying as a starting point, like there's no way it can be under that, right?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say. It's a difficult word
I
to
could
say.
not say.
It's a difficult weight to mention.
What would you want me to say to that, Ryan?
I want you to speak your truth.
Gretsch Super Axe weight. Let's see what Google says. 9.8 pounds.
Whoa!
On this one website. Another website says 9.2. Carter Vintage has theirs weighed at 9.2 pounds.
I told you it wouldn't be under 9.
Austin Guitar House has one. Do they have a weight?
I did a video. Maybe it'll make the edit. I just filmed a video for this today, and I guessed the weight really, really close. And I'm on a tear, guys.
The AustinGuitarHouse.com one is 8 pounds or 9. Sorry. No, stop. 9 pounds, 8.5 ounces. So that's about 9.5.
The closest one was 9.2 or 9 and 2 ounces.
Someone on GretschTalk.com says that theirs weighs 10.6 pounds.
A tenor.
So yeah.
They're not light. They are not light guitars.
Oh, this one is 4.3 kilograms.
That's not a real thing. You kidding me?
So if you want to do that conversion at home, that's about 2.2 pounds. So let's see, 4 and 2.2. That's at least 8.8 plus the 0.3. That would put it over 9 pounds.
Even in metric, I'm right. I guessed it correctly. I got nothing else to say about it other than I'm glad I learned about it.
Yeah, this was a fun thing to learn about.
It's funny
because I always think of Chet Atkins as either the Gibsons or the big was it the country? Is he the Tennessean or the country gentleman or both?
I think both. Chet Atkins is one of those guys.
But I either associate him with the weird Gibson thing or big body semi-hollows.
Sometimes I'm talking to family at holidays or whatever about what I do.
I never talk to family.
And they'll be like, don't you you've been doing this 10 years. Haven't you run out of guitars to talk about? Amazingly, no. We've been doing this 10 years. I've never seen one of those in my life.
If we wanted to, legitimately, if we wanted to do a thing, which I do not want to do this, but I'm going to say that we could do it. We could probably do 6 months of podcast episodes where every week we just did 10 to 15 minutes about a different BC Rich related topic. That, but that's what I'm saying. That's how crazy the guitar industry is.
Right. Well, it really just more speaks to the finite detail of the nerdism that, that we've built up around this hobby of caring about these objects.
If somebody wanted to, they could make a Fender podcast and get
only
at
Fender
least
talk.
200 episodes. Because every time Fender comes out,
the first 100 would just be all Telecasters.
Yeah.
Do you know how many Telecasters there are?
The first 100 would get you from the creation of the Telecaster to Buck Owens,
right?
You get from 1954 or whatever.
If it was this where they're looking at ads, it'd be here's a Squire we've never talked about.
It'd be they'd get from 51? Was that the first Telecaster?
Here's
49.
Here's
51?
a weird model from 90s Mexico factory. We've never seen that finish.
Let's do a whole episode about Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead and his Telecasters. Let's do an episode about Coldplay and their Telecasters.
It's a never, as if you want to be nerdy, there's a never ending well of things to talk about, no matter the subject. You can just keep going and going and going forever.
Yeah.
Just in tinier and tinier detail. It's like how every coastline is infinite if you have a small enough.
It's string theory.
Yeah.
For guitars.
Guys, it's string theory.
If you're a super nerdy watcher of the show, or maybe you're not, maybe you just like what we do, you can head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehumcast for as little as $1 a month, or as much as whatever your nerdy little heart desires. You can support the making of this program. This episode is dropping the week. We might be driving
the day after NAMM.
I think I'll be driving home from NAMM when the audio is up. So don't forget, you have to edit 2 episodes.
I know. I'm going to do it all this week.
But we'll be coming back from NAMM. But the Patreon fund really helped out in making NAMM happen for us and paying some of that NAMM stuff.
Steve's transitions lately have been giving me goosebumps. Like, he's just on top of the transitions game. Just ridiculous. But yeah, huge thanks to all our Patreons. We're coming back from NAMM. While you're listening to this, the Patreons made it possible. The Patreon funds paid for our share of the Airbnb. It paid for us to buy drinks for Rhett Scholl or whoever we run into. It paid for our meals and things like that.
I did imply on Threads that we might buy Rhett Scholl some beer, like a beer. I just put the beer emoji to Rhett.
Why are we targeting Rhett for this?
He posted and I just replied to it. That's
okay.
It. You were the one who brought him up.
I bought him a drink one time because a viewer super chatted me and said not to buy a drink for Rhett, and then that's exactly what I did with it.
Yeah. Ryan,
yes.
One of the things that the Patreon stuff pays for is like some of the equipment that you use to make videos as well.
That's true.
It's important that we transitioned the podcast from being an audio only format to an audio video format, because what we found out recently is that Apple has been intentionally killing the audio. I shouldn't say killing, but they've been
changing how they record the numbers.
They've been changing. Well, what they've done is they've set it to where if you have not listened to a show in 5 episodes, it stops automatically downloading onto your phone. So it means the download counts for a lot of shows, including ours, has gone down in the audio format. And that would be concerning, except we have a video format, which keeps this show viable for sponsors like Stringjoy.
This transition, Steve.
Crafted in Nashville, Tennessee, but played on stages worldwide, including some club in Long Beach in a week or so.
I think it's the Sunday after this episode airs. Yeah. I'll be playing in Long Beach.
Stringjoy makes great strings. I keep saying, I've been saying this for, it feels like months now. Still have the first set of orbiters that I strung up my Gibson Les Paul with. Still has us on there. They still look great. They still sound great.
Yeah.
So do yourself a favor, click the link below so they know that we sent you, and use code HUM at checkout to get 10% off your order from Stringjoy.
They're coated in enamel. That means they feel like teeth.
Swear, man. I'm gonna ask Blake at NAMM, hey man, how do you guys feel about this? And they're just gonna be like, we don't listen to the show.
Pretty much.
Let's see, this ad was sent by
Matthew Good.
Matthew Good.
I'm pretty sure he sent an ad before, because I always want to make a joke that the ad is either Matthew great or Matthew not that great.
Yeah, he did, because I said like the Matthew Good sent this, but this ad is Matthew bad.
There it is. Yeah.
Solid handmade electric guitar. Had this handed down through family. Sounds and plays great. Not sure of any branding. Collection only. This is something.
It's something. I want to know what it is, because it actually looks pretty cool. Like, there's some elements here where I'm like, I want to know where that selector knob came from. That big aluminum looking chunk, that nugget of a knob.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from? Where can I get that?
This is 450 pounds in Stamford.
That's heavy.
The UK.
It's missing a bridge saddle. But this thing looks really cool. It looks like it's got a fairly small body. It looks like it was probably made in the 70s. We got that brass nut thing going on, which was a big deal back then. Everyone was in love with brass nuts because, do you guys know that trumpets are made out of brass? So clearly brass is a tonally superior material to make all guitar parts out of.
This appears to have a brass mounts for the tailpiece, but not a brass tailpiece.
Right.
I think
it's got
that saddle would be easy to replace. Like that's just got to be like a pretty stereotypical tom.
Oh yeah, no, that'd be dead simple to replace, no problem. But you wouldn't tell the person selling it that. You'd be like, ugh, I'm missing a saddle. I'm gonna have to replace the whole bridge. And you don't tell them that's like a $30 part.
Yeah.
you make it feel like, oh, that's like a $200 thing.
I really like this concept of like a P90 bridge or P90 neck.
Oh, great combination.
Telecaster bridge. That seems like it should sound like a lot of fun.
You get that twang on the bridge and you get that fat punch in the neck.
I do really want to know what these switches do because there's the 3 buttons plus the rotary.
It's got like 1980s VCR switches on it, like or like cassette tape.
Yeah, like
deck.
like almost like a
it's Walkman switches. It's Walkman switches, and just I love the like the era of this. It's so cool. It's such a period piece, but it's also nameless. Like it's brandless. Like what is this? It might have been handmade by someone. It might have been homemade by someone as a project, but then it also looks really solid and really competent in a lot of ways.
Ryan.
Yes.
In one of the pictures, you can actually see the strap really well. This is a Gibson.
Gosh,
look at it right there. It's on the strap. Gibson, Gibson USA.
The strap says Gibson, so clearly this is a Gibson.
Like, why would you get a strap that wasn't a Gibson if your guitar wasn't also a Gibson?
The strap comes with a guitar when you buy it, and why would it come with a different brand of strap? You're totally right. Yeah, but all this hardware, man, like those push buttons, that nugget of a knob. I want that knob. I just want the knob. I'm going to buy this guitar just to get the knob. I'm not actually, but like, where did that come from? It looks like it came off of like a vending machine or something.
This does very much have,
or like a payphone,
have the vibes of that like SG Deluxe that we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where it's got like,
it's that era,
that pick guard happening where you probably don't like, if someone were to make this guitar today, it would have no pick guard, or it would only have like a very minimal pick guard on the lower horn. It wouldn't be the entire freaking body.
It's such a product of its time. Yeah. It's got overly complicated pick guard. It's got a raw wood look because people in the 70s and the early 80s,
all that walnut,
they just like no more color, just wood paneling and leather and shag carpet for some reason. And then like the brass appointments and stuff like that, like, and this weird shaped 3x3 headstock sort of situation. Like it's such a timepiece. It's such a time capsule. And like there's crust and rust on the tuners. I get the sense that someone played this. I think this was a player's guitar. I don't know. I just like looking at it. You know?
It's pretty.
Yeah. 450 pounds, it said.
I want to say that's around 600 US, maybe 700.
It is a hard sell though, because it's unbranded. If you don't know what it is, then what is it? It's nothing. If you don't know what it is, like, and I hate to say it, but brand names, you know, they help define value of things. So it's hard to sell something like this that doesn't have any pedigree. What's the pedigree of this guitar? What can people know just by who made it, what the quality is going to be? No, someone's got to go feel it, and they got to play it, and then they have to decide if it's worth it or not. And that's a hard sell. It is a hard sell. But I don't know. It's pretty dang handsome. And it's making me feel nostalgic for an era that I was barely an infant during. But it's like, this has the vibe of the televisions I grew up around, the interior decorating I grew up around, you know, just the culture that existed in that period leading up until the late 80s when things started getting neon and vanilla ice-ish,
Yeah, I have no idea what this is. I'm kind of like trying to maybe Google image search.
It's like a weird offset body with a 3x3 headstock that has like this tulip bulb shape to it. I honestly wouldn't be shocked to find out that it's just a one-off by someone.
It's got like alembic vibes,
right?
To it, but it's like an alembic copy.
A lot of stuff in that era had that,
yeah. And usually those ones they didn't go pick guard crazy,
right?
Some of them did. Some of the alembics are pretty pick guard.
But
crazy.
This could have been a small builder that just didn't have a way to put his mark on it. I don't know.
I feel like if you could
have been a hobby builder,
you could have put a mark on it if you.
But this is also it's not. It wasn't like today where parts guitars were so prevalent and so easy to come by all those components. Like you had to build this stuff, so it's not really surprising to see like these kind of like custom pickup rings and kind of unconventional hardware and things like that.
If you've got an idea what this is,
tell us.
Let us know.
Why are you keeping it a secret from us? Let us know, please.
Oh man, 26. And
Steve's got to mark his minutes.
I didn't mark it for the last one. Let's do some what's new, Ryan. We want to open this mail.
Open the mail.
Christmas card.
Here's our address. If you want to send us something to the UPS box, feel free.
I don't know how. Well, I guess Christmas really wasn't that long ago. It just feels like a long time ago.
So long ago.
This is from, I think it was Stephen or Sean. It was hard to tell, but this is a Peanuts card.
Oh, we got stickers.
With some stickers in it. It's got a picture of Trey's acoustic from a live show I went to. Now you have a useless Trey sticker too. Thanks, Steve, and the other guy.
Guitar stickers. I'm the other guy.
Says, thanks, Steve, and the other guy for such fun videos. Do you ever do slightly inebriated public domain guitar riff challenges? Maybe with random stacked pedals, and people have to vote on if Steve or Ryan did it better. Why did I just use both your names like someone else? Someone else there that would not be playing. Oh well, good. Oh, like someone else there that would not be playing. Oh well, good luck reading my writing. Thanks, Steven. So yeah, thanks, Steven. I don't know what your last name is because I couldn't read it. Oh, I Love Her So is an overblown Ramones song, probably because it's full of trust, bitterness, full of fun and not bitterness. Maybe not bitterness, but street ennui.
I only listen to Ramones songs that are about things that they want to do.
There's like a Ramones sticker.
Or don't want to do.
And this is a card from Dayspring. So it's got Peanut stuff and it's it's King James only. It's got a King James Bible verse inside.
All right.
So I think Alexis used to work for Dayspring.
Alexis.
That's fun. Thank you for the card.
A couple of years back, we got all those letters sent to us for the Azor contest, the Azor giveaway situation. And my wife says every year, she's like, I wish you would do like a Christmas card competition because my wife and my family had a lot of fun going through all that mail that came in and opening all those cards and reading all the messages and stuff. And it was a good time. Maybe I'll try to remember to do that this next holiday season.
And I had a lot of fun packaging 280 reverb
That
pedals.
part was not fun. Can we do that without shipping out pedals? That's the question. Or maybe there's one prize? One prize is more doable than 280 prizes. That whole thing is still ridiculous. Like someone else referenced it on the internet recently, and I was like, we're never doing that again. Like, we're never doing that again because that was stupid. 280 pedals that we gave away. Do you know how much shipping was?
Oh, speaking of shipping, ridiculous. Though, I want to say thanks to everyone. But this is a little late. But thanks to everyone from the 60 Cycle Hum listeners who donated to the Tim Christ Fund. He did get a transplant a couple weeks before Christmas, like I think 1 week before Christmas. He's out of the hospital now.
Oh, good.
And also, but I also, the reason I brought that up, you jogged my memory talking about shipping because I shipped the guitar to Mike Connor, who's actually, I think he's in our Discord. I know he's in other Discords that I am in. So he actually reached out to me directly and said, here's my address and whatnot. So
Nice.
So thanks, Mike, and thanks everyone else who participated. I was told that they raised, just from the giveaway, raised somewhere around $3,000
just from our stuff.
No, just, I mean, from the giveaway, not from just our part of the giveaway, but everybody.
Oh, just for the total give. Okay.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Cool.
That's amazing.
Well, thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone who contributed to that.
Ryan.
Yeah, Steve.
Do you know what's next?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. What's next is, why is it unfortunate to talk about
I didn't know it was next. I couldn't anticipate it.
This is the mood.
That was that one didn't give me goosebumps, Steve. That transition didn't work.
Ryan is a little grumpy about the topic that we're going to talk about in a couple minutes.
I didn't know what to say. I was just yes-anding. I didn't know what was going on.
He needs to play the mood to make
I need to be in a better mood.
His mood better. If you want to learn more about the mood, head on over to chasebliss.com and read all about it.
Keep an eye out.
Thanks,
I'm going to film some Chase Bliss stuff soon. Keep an eye out for that. I'm tricking Temu into paying for it. So,
a couple weeks ago,
yes, Steve, this is old news.
The internet got a glimpse of the latest Schecter signature guitar.
I want to pull this up
from one Machine Gun Kelly.
That's his name.
His name is Machine
We've
Gun
talked about
Kelly.
him before.
His name's
I'm not
like,
ignorant.
His name's like Brian or Tim or something. I don't know what his real name is. His last name's, it doesn't matter. But he goes by MGK, and everyone freaked out because it's like a
razor blade,
weird bulky razor blade.
It's $14.99 from Schecter right now,
right? Down
from $21.69. They already dropped the price.
No, that can't be. No, I think
look.
But it was $14.99 on Sweetwater. I've only seen it.
I don't know
on Sweetwater for
they're acting like it's worth more, but now it's on discount.
It's $14.99 on Reverb. It's and like I said, I saw it it's $14.99 at Chicago Music Exchange. I think that's like Schecter's trying to do the old MSRP trick, on their website,
right.
Because I definitely, there's no way anyone's paying $2,000, $2,200 for this. You know what? I think I know what the angle I kind of maybe want to take with this.
Well, you need to take a very particular angle or you'll cut yourself.
Right.
You know, the razor will just slice right into your skin.
So this came out. First of all, everyone thought it was a joke. And then they realized, oh, wait.
Yeah, everyone thought it was a Chibson ad.
Yeah. And Chibson pivoted very quickly, and they did like their own like version of like a safety razor, or not a safety razor, but
like a big,
like a disposable shaving razor, and came out with that. And then people realized that it wasn't a joke, and because his audience or lack thereof, or like his detractors tend to be people who are still into pop punk and emo and whatever, it kind of turned into, is this guitar is either glorifying self-harm or it's glorifying drug use. That became
Porque no los dos,
or it could be both, right? It is a double-sided
because it sure ain't
razor.
glorifying shaving.
And I think that became like the hot button topic. And I wanted to get your take on this because he basically came out after this cycle and said, as an artist, that wasn't my intention, but also I'm not going to tell you what my intention is, but you're wrong. And as a person with an art background and a graphic design background, like, I understand that there's an element in like the high art world of like, I'm going to make a thing, or like in songwriting, I'm going to write this song and everyone's going to think it's a love song, but really it's a song about like my dog or whatever.
Sure. I mean, anyone could make the argument that everything is open to interpretation. And if that's what you see in it, then that's your own, your own mind's eye or whatever.
Right.
But for something like a razor blade that really has very, very limited applications.
Yeah. I think we named them all.
Limited cultural understanding around it. Like, it's only like 3 or 4 things. It's either shaving, which it's not, because he's not being like, shaving, right, guys? Or it's self-harm, which is awful. Or it's drugs. Please be responsible, is what I'll say.
Or somebody suggested,
seek help if you need it. Find help if you need it.
Somebody suggested it could be for like that he made this guitar design to let people know how to clean their fretboards. Or like literally I saw someone being like, oh, this is how you strip paint.
Or it could just be like, what would get me attention, which is what it did.
Right.
It's like, we talked about Machine Gun Kelly once before. Was it because of his guitar?
It's because of the pink Schecter, the pink one that when he first got his signature guitar, the conversation was all about, is Machine Gun Kelly enough of a rock star to deserve a signature guitar?
Well, that conversation, that's nonsense. Like, that
was the conversation.
Right. Yeah, it's all just marketing. It doesn't matter. I legitimately couldn't remember any of that. And I don't remember, because I think I looked him up and like listened to some music. I genuinely cannot remember anything about him. And the possible elements of what this could be are all just so boring to me. Like, that's my criticism. Like, this is all just so boring. And the fact that it kind of took over the internet for like a week and a half or something like that, and now no one talks about it anymore, because that's how things work. The fact that so many people were talking about it, and every time I saw people posting about it, like, this is so dang boring. Like, it is funny that I'm about to say this because it shares lineage with Schecter. This looks like a Daisy Rock guitar. It's like if a Daisy Rock guitar got edgy and was trying to be controversial and get attention. That's because Schecter used to make Daisy Rock. Daisy Rock came from Schecter. It was birthed out of a Schecter. And that's exactly what this looks like. It looks like a Daisy Rock Suicide Girls guitar.
Right. If Daisy Rock was suddenly,
which is,
Daisy Women or whatever.
Like the impression I've gotten from just seeing images of Machine Gun Kelly and like just kind of the pop culture fervor that goes on around him is like, is that an accurate way to describe this character? This personality is a Suicide Girls Daisy Rock. Like, that's what
maybe
that's what we're dealing with here.
It's definitely like fully a prop. So his actual quote was, "Most of you constantly interpret it wrong, and then you blame me for your version of what you think my art is." And I think kind of the question maybe is, are artists responsible for the way that people interpret their art if their interpretation is wrong? Are they do they have a responsibility to clear the error?
It's a big gray area question.
Sure.
Like if you make a picture of, if you paint a picture of a carrot and everyone goes like, nice picture of a carrot, and you scream and cry, no, it's not a carrot. You've misrepresented, you've misunderstood what I was going for here. At a certain point, you have to be like, well, I guess they have a point. I painted a carrot, and like I didn't. If you are trying to communicate something and everyone is getting it wrong, you failed as an artist. If you are trying to, it's fine to be cryptic. It's fine to hide messages and be like, I'm hiding messages for me in my art, and other people don't get to know. And there's an element of mystery here, and that's part of the art, is the element of mystery. That's fine too. There's not a strong argument to be made for or against that thing, but I truly believe the greatest criticism you could have against art is not arguing about the meaning or arguing about the execution, but just saying that it's boring. And this guitar is
It's kind of boring.
It's boring.
It's Bo Diddley.
It is.
It's an edgy Bo Diddley.
A Bo Diddley is edgier than this.
Right.
A Bo Diddley is something. What is this? It's an image of a razor blade on a guitar. A Bo Diddley is like, it thumbs its nose. It flips off conventional guitar design and says, no, this is a signature guitar of someone who is actually significant to guitar.
Right.
And, he's going to play it. And like, look, it's a plank. This is a plank because a razor blade happens to be that shape.
Right.
It's a single note message here. There's no nuance to it. There's only a small handful of interpretations that make any sense whatsoever. If he has some sort of complex personal idea behind this, then it's not ever going to be apparent to anyone.
Well, it's also interesting because I think the full quote makes the snippet that Guitar World had at the beginning, it actually makes it worse because he says, "I'll never explain my art because true art is conversational and always up for interpretation. But I'll say most of you constantly interpret it wrong and then blame me for your version of what you think my art is.
I'm going to say
ultimately, I'm sad at how people perceive me in general. Peace."
But he's not even talking about the guitar there. He's talking about himself.
He's talking about himself, but he's saying like, you perceive the guitar this way because you perceive me this way. I'm a pretty strong believer in not from an absolute sense, but in at least a very broad sense, that perception is reality. If someone perceives you away in a certain way, you can't just be, your perception of me is wrong. At some point you have to ask yourself the question, why does everyone around me, why does everyone, if somebody who can't show up one day and say, everyone here thinks I'm an asshole, you just don't understand me. At some point they have to take a step back and say, why does everyone around me think I'm an asshole?
Right. Maybe it's because you're an asshole. But I want to say, like, based on what you just read of his response, he shouldn't talk to the press. He didn't come across as sounding like, well, he's doing something right. He's got signature guitars. He has a career. He's a public figure. He's doing something right. He's reaching an audience in some sort of significant way. But imagine if he just shut up and didn't talk. Like, then he might come across as mysterious. He might come across as like, oh yeah, maybe he's got some message that we're not understanding. But when he's like that sort of defense, like, it just sounds like a whiny brat who doesn't actually have any deep thoughts about anything. It
is kind of like an interesting thing because I could see someone like, I'm trying to spit it out. I could see someone along in like the early 90s doing something like this. I could see like this being like a Kurt Cobain signature guitar, right? Let me work all the way through this. I realized like
it would be a shotgun, Steve.
Jesus.
I mean, if you're going to go that direction, go that direction.
Well, I'm saying like, okay,
lean into it.
I'm saying like this could be like a Kurt Cobain, like that, not a razor blade. I don't associate razor blades with Kurt Cobain. I'm just saying like, if this was a thing and someone said like, Kurt, what is this? I feel like he would just kind of like mumble into the microphone like, oh, that's not really.
Or you would say something like non-related or contrarian, or say something that like
but it wouldn't be like, oh, you guys just don't understand me.
The defensiveness of that reply feels so deflated.
Right.
Like, it doesn't feel like an artist who's like, you guys don't get it. You're not cool. You don't understand. Like, no, it's someone who themselves doesn't understand and they're trying to defend themselves. Like, and for what reason? It's silly. It's a silly design. He could have just been like, it's funny. I thought it was funny. Like, and that would be more understandable than like, oh, you guys misunderstand my art. Shut up. Shut up. Like, at the risk of sounding like an old man shaking his fist at the clouds, like there is a lost art to being a rock star. Maybe it's not lost. This guy just doesn't have it. Other people have it. There's an art to being a public figure and building a mystique around your brand.
Right.
And not saying dumb shit that makes you sound dumb. Like say dumb shit that makes you sound mysterious, or makes you sound edgy, or makes you sound like you're part of a culture that other people don't have access to, or make it sound like you have access to really weird drugs that other people don't know about. Like make it seem like you have a life that is more exotic and more interesting than the average person can comprehend, and leave the audience hanging with this imagery. When you're just like, you guys don't get it. That's what like a pathetic teenager would say. Yeah. Not a cool teenager. There's cool teenagers. This is like, mom and dad don't understand me. You don't get my art.
If this was a Tom DeLonge signature guitar and you asked him about it, he'd just be like, I don't know, man, aliens.
Right. I have no desire. Like sometimes I see dumb guitars and I'm like, oh, I have a desire to get one,
to do something with it
and flip it on its head and make it something else. This is so boring. I have no desire.
Are there any? I want to know. Let's see. Have any like YouTubers?
And you know what? Like Dimebag Daryl. Because
he was like the Confederate flag
guitar. His name is Dimebag.
Trogley bought the Schecter machine gun.
His name was Dimebag because cocaine. Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure Dimebag associated himself with razor blades. I think there was a razor blade inlay on some of his guitars. You throw a Floyd on this, you throw a really hot humbucker in the bridge, and this could have been a Dimebag guitar, and it would have made sense because at least he would be committing to the bit. I would respect MGK more if he was like, this is about self-harm.
The Dean is the Dimebag Razorback,
right? And it's got a razor blade inlay, right?
Does it? I don't know.
Dimebag Daryl, for all his faults, at least he understood his own branding. Like MGK, understand your own branding. What is this? How does this apply to your own branding? Yeah, I told you. How does it apply to what sells you to your audience? Don't shy away from it. Lean into it. However disgusting, the general population finds it, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to freak people out and piss people off. That's what it is to be a rock star, is to make parents worry. Like a parent should be looking at this and worrying about their kid that wants to buy this.
Right.
They shouldn't be going online and like, oh, you don't understand my art. Well, I guess this guy has some sort of other idea about what this is, so I guess it's safe for little Timmy to buy. Mm-hmm. That's not what you want. You don't want to explain it away to make it safe. Lean into it. Say, yeah, this is about when I think about suicide. It's dark.
Jeez.
I hate to say it on this show, but like if you're going to brand yourself with something like this, then that's what you have to commit to doing if you want to come off as doing it sincerely.
I mean, out the gate, his stage name is Machine Gun.
Right.
I think that's supposed to probably maybe be a reference to like
a weapon,
like that he like spits rhyme, because he used to be a rapper.
Okay, all right.
So maybe it was like a rap thing, like, oh, he used to spit rhymes like a machine gun spits bullets. I don't know. I'm speculating heavily. I could look it up. I don't actually care.
Is this guy real?
He feels not real.
He feels like a made up character for Law and Order. Like not even like a good made up character. It's like, oh, we needed like a controversial rock character for a murder mystery, and so this is what we came up with. He seems so manufactured.
And he would.
Does anyone actually like him?
And he would be a pedo. It would be SUV,
right?
And at the end, Ice-T would be like, "Come on, honky, you're going to jail."
And he would like out rap him in the police cruiser.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the other topic?
Yeah, let's do it. PRS.
Paul Reed Smith.
Paul. I want to pull up. I want to see if I can find that press release. You start talking about it while I look.
Paul Reed Smith Guitars has announced that they are moving all of their American-made guitars, maybe all of their guitars, over to a new tuner, a tuner that Paul apparently originally designed 44 years ago. In the video, he shows like the blueprints from 1980, or I think it was 1980.
Can I just read the press release?
Read the press release. Even though last episode we established that you can't read. So
I can read. I'm
you
literate.
can read. Okay.
I'm functionally literate. January 16th, 2024. PRS Guitars have today introduced updated tuning machine buttons for many of their core series guitars. These new buttons bring to life Paul Reed Smith's original vision from around 1980, years before the company itself existed. While these new tuners are an aesthetic update, the primary reason for the change is tonal, because, of course, every decision that PRS makes is because of the tone of things. Like, this guitar is red because of the tone. Okay, Paul. All right. Paul Reed Smith has been known to say that anything that touches the string is God. Which means tuning machines play.
Wait, that means I'm God.
Which means tuning machines play a large part in a guitar's tone. The new wing buttons found on many new 2024 PRS Core Series guitars and the PRS NF53 and private stock John McLaughlin before them are designed to be lightweight, thereby subtracting less energy from the vibrating strings and helping the guitar ring longer and at a more musical note. By having less weight, this is in quotes, by the way, by having less weight on the headstock, the guitar is allowed to ring at a musical note. It opens up the vowel sound of the guitar, said Paul Reed Smith. There's more, but I'm not going to read it all.
Okay,
we're talking about plastic tuning buttons. That's what we're talking about here.
My first question is, what? Assuming there's some kind of resonance thing here, assuming it's real and measurable.
Well, I have personal things I can say about that.
Wouldn't the musical note of the headstock resonance change based on the type of string and your tuning and all this other stuff too?
Everything that touches the string is God, Steve. Is God. To be worshipped. To be feared.
All right, what were you going to say?
So I've noticed that guitars that have big, bulky locking tuners on them don't feel as fun to me as my guitars that have lightweight vintage style tuners on them.
Interesting, Ryan.
I don't like that extra mass on the headstock. But what's also, there is a feel difference. Like the weight of an instrument and the way the weight is distributed does impact how you interact with it. It impacts your interaction and experience with that instrument. Tonally, I have no idea. Maybe someone out there could measure it. They could change tuners on a guitar and well, these are high mass tuners. Now here's low mass tuners, and here's how the notes changed. Here's how the sustain changed, and that becomes really murky because you're using human hands and you are reacting to the weight in that, and maybe reacting to the weight is what's changing it, not the weight itself. Like, there's so many little details and variances and things that just can cause any sort of difference that makes it completely immeasurable, which is why it's so brilliant for someone like Paul Reed Smith to be like, here's a thing that's changing tone, because you can't measure that. You can't accurately measure that. It's ridiculous to assume that you could, but you can be like, oh, it feels different. I enjoy this feel. I enjoy a lighter feel versus a heavy brass full-bodied tuner or a great big locking tuner or something like that. I like the light feel. It feels snappy now. Like, you could use adjectives like that. But geez, just the hard sell on switching to plastic tuning buttons is on a new level.
It's interesting because you have to. I mean, I guess there's no numbers thrown around, right?
If it all comes down to mass, you could start drilling holes in your headstock to offset the weight of your tuners.
Well, it's also what is the weight difference between the PRS, whatever, what do they call it? Phase 3, I think was the more recent tuner.
Right.
Versus this. What is the actual difference in mass? It's got to be pretty minimal, though maybe he would argue that it's not just the total weight of the tuner set, it's the individual weight and how it anchors the string to the headstock. One of the things I think is interesting is in all of this, and there was I think about this also in terms of that Jim Lill video that came out, I think it was last year, about, what affects tone.
Right.
With the guitar, and basically he ran guitar strings, between 2 tables or something. I don't remember exactly. And basically did all this thing to try to say that for electric guitar, like nothing really impacts tone. That was the conclusion, right?
Sure.
Something like that. So the thing that I just looked up and I was surprised about is the lack of Fender Fat Finger demos on YouTube. There are Fender Fat Finger demos.
Sure.
But there's not like a ton of them. And so I think for $20 and some time, that could be a future Patreon video for you. Just something to think about.
After I just like scream argued with an empty black lens that these sorts of things are immeasurable. Like, I'm not going to do it, Steve. There's a reason why people aren't doing it. And it's the same reason people don't do demos of guitar cables, because there's nothing to demonstrate.
People want to hear your opinion on whether or not you hear a difference in the room. I don't know, maybe you won't. My whole point is saying that like this type of like bit fatter, like heavier headstock, lighter headstock,
right,
neck dive fixes, all of these different things. One of the features on a lot of bass guitars for years has been like the hip shot ultralight tuners. Like,
yeah,
I think a lot of that had to do with neck dive and the fact that basses tend to be heavier instruments anyway.
Yeah,
but that is a thing that has existed for a long time. So it's interesting to see a major manufacturer like this not just come out with this product, because again, Fender has owned the Fat Finger product for at least probably 15 years. But I don't feel like,
it's such a niche.
Leo Fender the Fourth never got in front of a camera and said, this is the product that every Fender owner should buy.
Yeah, it should just come with every P bass,
I do think it's interesting that PRS makes this video, because like you said, and like the press release said, Paul thinks of everything in terms of tone and whatever, like he's thinking about it that way. So he wants to give a tonal reason for this change. And the reality is, and some people have already talked about this, in the comments of his video, like how there are going to be, is the market on pre-tuner PRS is going to go through the roof now? Oh yeah. I was going to buy your custom 24, but I noticed that it's the lightweight tuner.
I'm going to say no, but
I don't think it is either. But
the reason why that's not going to affect the value of PRSs is because PRSs are sports cars. Their value is determined by how new they are, by people are going to argue with me, by the vibe, by the personality of their core purchasing audience. Like, it's a lot of people buy PRSs with a bit of like a status symbol sort of thing, or at the PRSs at the level that we're talking about, like higher end PRSs,
right.
Like, and newer model kind of comes with the territory. And so you're not going to see someone be like, oh, I can only get a vintage PRS, because it's built into the culture of the consumer of that brand that new stuff is good. Like, Gibson has to constantly look back,
right,
and be like, I swear this is like the old stuff. PRS is like, the fandom is like, Paul's a visionary, like I've got to get the new model year, like it's not, I'm explaining it very black and white, but there is that vibe throughout.
I mean, there's definitely a market for vintage PRS, but I think I understand what you're saying.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
Like, that market exists, and if you go back to like when it was more of like a one-man shop thing, those guitars are worth a lot.
Right.
But to your point, like, no, there isn't. There's not going. Their core audience is not going to say, "Oh, I'm not going to buy the 2024 because it has these new tuners."
The person
they're still going to buy them.
The person who buys, the higher end PRS, and we see them on the internet. People have dozens of these things.
Yeah,
they're gonna want to buy model year. They're gonna want to have the new thing, because that's the fandom. They like the new thing. They want to try the new thing. That's why they've ended up with 20 flamed and quilted guitars that all have 2 humbuckers in them in the same bridge.
Right.
There's not a lot of variation there, but you see PRS collectors that just have 20 of essentially the same guitar, but there are slight differences from, and they just want to try. They want the new one.
They got the blue custom 24.
Right.
They got the red custom 24. They got the green custom 24.
They just want the new one. Like, and I get, like, we're doing a guitar podcast. This is a whole guitar channel we've done for a decade. We get it. We get the compulsion to buy.
Old one, old one, old one, old one. I'm just saying
the truth about what the scene is, you know? They're not going to lose sales over this. And if they do, they'll get those sales back later.
Right.
When enough of these are out in the wild and people get off their high horse and realize that tons of guitars across history have had plastic tuning pegs, and people actually like love that about those guitars. Like there's people who get a Les Paul and they take off the modern tuners and put on the plastic ones.
Yeah. That is something I think is really interesting, is the people who are making that argument that like, oh, it should be metal because of the price point or whatever.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
When like
it should be carbon fiber.
So many.
It should be carbon fiber.
That would make it super lightweight, right?
Yeah, and strong.
What? Yeah. Speaking of, I mean, is it because it's so small? Like, why don't if it's a weight thing, why don't guitars ever have like just the like flat paddle tuners the way that basses do?
Here's a thought I had.
It's really about leverage. You don't need the tuner to be thick.
You don't need a tuning key at all.
Okay.
It could be like a drum tuner where you it's a keychain and it's a little wrench attachment on your headstock. And like, time to tune my guitar. I bring out the tool.
Yeah.
And so you just completely minimize. Oh my gosh! I just invented a thing and someone out there is going to make it.
Yeah. You could just have.
I'm going to be responsible in 5 years for the next wave of shitty, stupid product that's on the market. It's the tuners where you have to have a tool to tune it because they're trying to go as light as possible.
You just store it in like the little pocket. You could make it magnetic and put like a little magnetic strip on the back.
Yeah. People will make custom ones that are like, daily carry pocket knives and stuff like that. Gotta have my tuner thing.
Yeah. You never know when I might come across one of those guitars with the tunerless keys. I'm going to need this tool.
Let's talk about the theoretical science behind what he's saying about this.
Oh, dude.
I know we already have, but like, so say you have an object. We've got a screwdriver
and it's in motion.
It's not in motion yet. It's attached to a guitar string. For this to go into motion, you have to put that motion into the guitar string, and then it goes into this. If we have a smaller screwdriver, the same amount of motion connected to a string would move this more. Because there's more motion being, like, it doesn't take as much motion to put this in motion as it does to put this into motion.
Sure.
So you could theorize that on a tuner, on a guitar, if you have less mass on the headstock, you could feel more vibration through the neck.
Okay, so here's the thing that I don't understand about it.
And more quickly, it could feel snappier theoretically because the mass of the neck and the headstock and the tuners is more easily vibrated by the strings that are shaking it versus a larger mass thing. But then the counter argument and what was going on, in the 70s and the 80s and even into the 90s when I was on the internet looking at guitar stuff, the high mass people are like, yeah, but once you charge this up, you charge up the big thing, sustain.
Yeah.
That was the thing everyone was chasing. Because like now that it's charged up, it holds that energy longer because there's more mass moving around, where this has very little sustain. So theoretically it's a trade-off. You either have snappy, quick, resonant, sort of like alive feeling guitar neck dynamics, or you have a steel beam that just rings for days, but you really got it. You really got to nail that thing with a hammer.
When you think about was it the first interview you did with Paul where he talked about everything being subtracted?
Right. That was a whole thing he was on during that time.
But this fits in with that.
It is subtractive.
Because the tuner because the tuners are something that you add on to a body out of necessity, but you add on to the body, but they change the way the string vibrates. So by reducing the mass in the headstock, you're getting a truer vibration. Whether or not that's actually desirable, you know, is what with your screwdriver, with someone's vibrating thing example.
Yeah, someone's going to try to make the argument of the tonal characteristics of plastic and the plastic sounding dead or something like that. PRSs are already sprayed with poly.
Right.
So what's a little more plastic?
It's already
and also different plastics behave differently.
It's all going through like a tusk nut or whatever.
Yeah, the glue is probably synthetic. Maybe it's not. I don't know. PRS fans are pissed already. So tell me if they use hide glue. I don't know.
You got anything else, man?
To be fair though, when I watched the video of Paul explaining it, I do have a sweet spot in my heart for Paul. I do. I find there's something very endearing about Paul, and it warms my heart to watch him talk and hear him talk.
There is a comment that I see a lot that Paul.
I wish he had a podcast.
That there's two different ways people interpret Paul. One is that he's a charlatan, that there's no way that he actually believes the things that he says.
Right. They think he's a snake oil salesman.
The other one is that like he's just got his head so far up his own ass that he has no idea like of the realities of this thing. And I don't think either of those things are really true. I think Paul genuinely believes that this makes enough of a difference to make a video about it.
I think I think he's not on the side where he's intentionally trying to grift anyone. I don't, having met Paul in a limited fashion, admittedly, but also having actually a decently long conversation with one of the people who works with him, who had a lot of interesting things to say. Good things. But you know, like, oh, here's the real person that is Paul that I experienced, you know?
Yeah.
Paul 100% believes the things that he says. The read that I get from him, and I feel like I do a decent job of reading people's personalities and reading their character. The read I get off of Paul's character is that he totally believes these ideas. He's totally sold on them. And in his head, that like he has built them up to be what he's selling with them. But he views them as information that was outside of him, and he's just the one who's focused on it. Like he's focused on some piece of information that he didn't come up with. He didn't invent that idea.
Right.
But he found that idea. And now he's obsessed with it. And now he's working towards that idea. And that's his obsession. Like that is
interesting.
That is, maybe that is, for lack of a better term, maybe that is his delusion. Maybe maybe there is a narcissistic element to that, is that he is so wrapped up in this idea that he's wrapped up in, so it must be important because he finds it interesting.
It's called Delulu, but go on.
But I don't think it's any sort of maliciousness. I think it comes from a very pure-hearted place, believe it or not. I think he has trouble hearing ideas that are counter to his own ideas, but I think there's an unexpected humility in his personality that is really hard to explain. But yeah, he's also Paul Reed Smith, and he also talks really big. And he talks very forward about his things. But I think that really sums up how I've gotten impressions from Paul, is that it is a very unusual and unexpected humility that he has hidden in this big, like, I know everything sort of presentation.
Paul's in an interesting place. I was just thinking about this
interesting
right now as I was. He's
character.
He's in an interesting place, because if there are Gibsons, you know, Orville Gibson's great whatever grandchildren, they are presumably not involved at Gibson Brands. If there is a Leo Fender the third or whatever, he is not involved, or she,
as far as we're aware. It's not. It's never made news of, at least.
At Fender or whatever Fender is, FMIC. Are they FMIC still? I don't remember.
Who knows?
There are a few brands that are known, that have the luthier associated with them. I'm thinking of like John Suhr from Suhr Guitars.
Sure. Sir. We got to wrap this up soon.
Reverend, so on and so forth. That says we have 14 hours.
That says we have 16 minutes.
And we still got an ad to do.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is like Paul's in a very interesting place because I have to estimate that PRS is probably the third or fourth largest American electric guitar manufacturer.
I think as far as like guitar purchasers awareness goes, that's probably true. Like as far as a brand goes, like you would definitely put them at the top of the list of brand awareness.
Fender, Gibson, PRS. Right.
Sure. I mean, you could throw Ibanez
but I'm thinking of American.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
And Paul he's Paul. He is the namesake.
Yeah.
So he is in this unique position where like he is associated with the brand that he started still. The next closest thing I could think of, though, he's a little more distanced now, I think it would be like Bob Taylor.
Sure.
Which I've always associated Taylor and PRS for reasons. Anyway,
so I think similar era.
I think that makes Paul like an interesting character study because he's simultaneously like this godlike guitar owner of this brand, so that makes him godlike. But also, he's a regular dude.
He totally is.
So I don't know. It's just something to think about. This last ad was sent by Riley Anderson. This
is a good one.
It says, my roommate left this in my basement. I haven't the foggiest of why he created this. For someone looking to experiment, there is no price on this. No price.
It can't be priced.
It cannot be priced.
There's so much going on here.
Oh my God. I thought somebody...
I'm glad there's only one picture and that's all we need.
Okay. We're going to end this episode really quick.
Are we?
For the audio folks, click the link that will take you to the Imgur.
We can talk about this for 10 minutes. We can do it.
Okay.
Let's talk about this for 10 minutes.
I don't know how long the song is going to be.
Give me, if we have to cut off without an outro after the song is fine. Give me 10 minutes.
This is a 3-string bass?
No, it's a 6-string bass. 3 of the strings are bass strings. The other 3 of the strings are guitar strings. It is built around an Ernie ball. No, it's one of those. It's not the Ernie ball, but it's an Axis.
Like OLP.
It's an
OLP body.
I don't know why I can tell that this is photo flame just by looking at it, but that's an OLP body with a Strat trim on it. The neck has been replaced with a Yamaha.
But it's a Yamaha EG112, so I think this is an electric guitar neck that's been retrofitted.
Yes.
I was thinking it was the other way, like it was a Yamaha bass neck retrofitted for guitar.
This is a Yamaha guitar neck that has been retrofitted with 3 bass tuners. And they're running it as a 6-stringed bass, which really means that it's a 3-string bass with doubled up strings in, because they're trying to make it, they're treating it like a 12-string guitar.
Right.
You understand? But it's a bass.
It's a 3-string bass. It's chorused.
It's a doubled up 3-string bass in the style of a 12-string guitar.
Yeah.
It's just so many different parts.
But it's got to be like really short scale. Right?
Oh, no, yeah. I think that was a short scale guitar, too. I think those were like 24 and a half or something, or 24 point something odd. Like the Axes are a shorter scale. Who knows what the scale of that neck is? If that'll even be correct at all.
Yamaha EG was probably like a 25 and a half.
He had to modify the trem block to get those bass strings through there. There's no way those bass strings just slid right into those Strat saddles.
You're probably right.
It's hideously beautiful. This is art. This is fantastic.
I love the pickups in this thing.
Yeah, what pickups are in this? They put bass pickups, but they're like what would be a mini bucker in a bass, because they're it's humbucker size, but not bass humbucker size. This thing is a package. This thing is amazing. It's art, and it was left behind. It was a roommate just abandoned it like an unwanted kitten in an alleyway or something like that. Like they just
this would have been a 25 and a half inch scale. This is a OLP MM1
25 and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That would, That's plenty.
Sorry.
That's plenty for this concept. It probably works really fun. It's probably really weird, and you should probably buy this and build a band around it.
Yep.
Like, this is the center point of a new genre of music, and some legendary nameless roommate left it behind somewhere. There's no price. If you could track this down in Victoria, BC, you could make an offer, and who knows, they might just give it to you.
There you go.
And it'll be the start of your musical career, because this is a totally different thing.
Ryan.
Yes, Steve.
Adventurous Club.
What were the other ones?
The Gretsch Super Axe. That
handmade thing. No,
thing.
This gets it. This gets it. Riley Anderson. I don't care what Steve says. He's won the flip so many times. I'm stealing this one if he says otherwise.
Congratulations, Riley Anderson. Ryan's got that fire in his belly right now. He's not a fighter. I think I could take him, in a 7-game series, but this is going to be that first one out the gate where
a series of what?
That's the whole thing in sports where they say like this team couldn't win a 7-game series, but they could win at least one.
How long is the series in sports?
It depends. It could be 7 games. It could be 5 games.
I realize I don't understand
games.
The concept of series in sports at all. Is that like parallel?
Oh my God. Shut up.
Sorry. Okay. Where were you going with that? I'm sorry.
I'm saying like, you're not a fighter. I know that. I think if we had like 5 boxing matches, I could win.
Oh, I would
3 of the 5.
No, I would
matches.
tap out immediately and be like, oh, I don't actually want to do this. And I wouldn't care about walking away.
What I'm saying is that on this topic, this would be one of the ones where people would be like, oh my God.
I'd stand up and flip the table. If you pushed back even a little bit.
All this equipment just goes flying.
No one would see this episode because I would snap the cards and be like, we're over.
Destroyed.
It's over, Steve. Don't ever talk to me ever again. And I would even delete the whole YouTube channel. The way I make my entire living, I would just scrap it so no one would ever know that I was ever associated with you.
All right.
Congratulations, Riley.
This song was sent by Stephen Dixon.
Was this a good episode?
He says, I hope it's okay. I'm sending you all a few songs. I don't have many people to listen to them. This song is called One Step Removed. We are connected, and I am pressing play.
Thanks for the applause.
To crash last night and liquor on my tummy. And then we unleashed the breeze. Normals don't know what to be. So it's nothing small. Carrying on away. Enjoy your company for a while. Desperate to share our stories and gloat of our successes, painting our love failures in pretty white dresses. One step removed from sleeping on the sidewalk, staying up late, just listening to your dirty talk. The fresh stab of truth that's taken away my hunger when it shows the damned in the water. One step removed from sleeping on the sidewalk, staying up late, just listening to your dirty talk. A fresh stab of truth has taken away my hunger when it showed the damn expelled water.
We talk about teacups and time. We talk about teacups and time. It's never gonna gather itself back together again. It's never gonna gather itself back together again. We talk about teacups and time.
This was like right up your wheelhouse, wasn't it?
That was amazing.
Thanks, Steven.
Super, like more of that in just general in culture in everyday life, please. All of that. Like that's just perfect ADD music.
We have 2 more songs to play from Steven. So.
Good.
Not today.
No. I couldn't handle any more than that.
Because we're about to run out of space.
That's fantastic. Thank you for saying that. Everyone try to make music like that. Like try. See if you can. I wish I could. Bye, everybody.
Stay grounded.
Good grief. How do we run out of card space, man?
Because the first episode went so long.